Jackie, thank you so much for jumping on and to chat about your experience in the program, but also around your amazing success over the last few months. We've been going through the Uplevel Mastermind program together, which has been awesome. We've been cracking into the year and seeing some amazing progress, dealing with some challenges that ultimately come up with running businesses. But it's been awesome to see you progress and ultimately scale your revenues and get that really nice year-on-year growth. And coming off, I think it was your second best month ever. I think it was, and that 64K last month was a phenomenal effort, especially given what transpired, prior to that. But look, before we jump into the strategies and what you did and all that sort of thing, I'd love to just get a bit of a introduction to yourself and what you do in your business and things like that. And we can go from there.
Sure. Hi, thanks, Will. Thanks for your help and for working with me.
Sure.
My name's Jackie, and I have a small online jewelry business, repurposing vintage designer components into new pieces. So there's often a really small, limited selection available and limited runs. So it's tricky when something gets very popular because I can't always restock it because it's vintage. But that's what makes it special as well. So yeah, so it's been great. And yes, as you say, had a very good month last month. I'm very tired, but that's a good thing. And yeah, it's I think I've lost track of what I'm meant to be answering now. So free
That's
to
okay.
hone in on a specific question.
No, that's totally fine. I mean, just a little introduction about the business, which is, as you say, extremely beautiful and elegant jewelry. And as you say, you've got a real advantage of being in like a high-end niche, but making it affordable for people as well, which is great. So a lot of things we've been doing, obviously, with maneuvering the messaging and prestige around it, and obviously the price points and stuff we've looked at. Where were things at before we met? Where were things at with yourself and the business, and what were you kind of dealing with at that point that sort of ultimately got us to engage and consider the program?
Just very, very random. It
Yeah.
was sales were random and it just felt very, very hard to make any sort of predictions. Income was random, and I guess I didn't have the best kind of overall concept of expenses. So it was great to kind of really get a very detailed picture of exactly what was coming in, what was going out, where it was going, where it could be streamlined and improved. So yes, that's definitely been a very good thing and made me feel much more kind of like I have a better sense of the big picture and got more control of the whole situation, which
Yeah,
is
it's super.
necessary, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's super common when we're wearing all the hats in our businesses. It's like, it's just, that's how it feels, on a good days where you just don't know what's what or what you're doing tomorrow. And so to get a handle on that, especially the stuff that we honestly tend to avoid, like the data, it sounds boring and whatever. We just know how important it is when we do understand it, and obviously helps us drive, decisions and things. With jumping in, and obviously you joined the mastermind, which was, amazing. Did you have any reservations in jumping in? Like, what was your thought process?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
No offense to you.
No,
Only
not at
because
all.
I'd done these sorts of
Mm.
programs. Well, not, but I
Yeah.
had sought assistance from, business people before, and it just had not gone well. So I was like,
Mm.
okay, I'm going to give it one last go.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did because it's been really helpful,
Yeah.
unlike the other ones. So
Sure.
thank you for that.
No, and look, unfortunately, I do always sort of say, like, if you haven't been burnt, as people put it, or had a bad experience, like you haven't been in it long enough. Like, unfortunately, they're just the scars that we carry. But I think what's really admirable is exactly what you just mentioned to jump back in, and something I always like to remember is don't let a bad decision, the previous one, burn you twice, meaning forego the good decision or the good opportunity in front of you. And so that's where it's been, amazing, and you've just embraced absolutely, everything. And so from a strategic perspective, what has been the biggest thing for you? I mean, there's been a couple of things that come to mind when I think about what's driven your business success. What are the things primarily that we've been working on together and that have worked?
It's a long list, Will. It's a long list. So, well, definitely just being having a really clear picture of expenses and looking at where things can be tweaked there, to kind of bring that back, streamlining the collection so that it's not um, just sort of whatever I can find, but it really is a curated collection of pieces that I know my audience is interested in.
Mm,
Um, and ideally pieces that I can at least restock once or twice. So yeah, streamlining the stock has been an excellent move.
mm.
Um, as well as just sort of looking at the best way to expand my audience. So is that through working with influencers, through some podcast advertising, which I'd never done before, and those sorts of things, which have really brought me quite a lot of business, which has been great. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I was probably going to say a similar thing, especially expanding those audiences. Your products have such a great advantage of being talkable, is what I used to say about, especially like Karmic, the juice business that my brother and I co-founded. That was a very talkable type product, and so is yours, just being the style and elegance of them. And so those avenues of influencers and PR and what we'd sort of dub like other people's audiences has been extremely powerful for you, which you had some great success prior to the program. But as you just mentioned, being able to say, cool, let's double down on that now, and
Mm.
also put potentially some marketing finance behind it has been really key. And then having I know working on the ads obviously together, and you got some helpers with the ads, which is also fantastic. But like you said before, just knowing the numbers and the mechanics, and then saying, okay, this is the plan, is confidence building, and basically being able to analyze those results is again really important without you having to know all the intricate details yourself. So that's been really cool for you to just growing in confidence, and obviously again see the results from that, because sometimes when we're just sort of on our own in our heads and we're driving the whole business, we've got the full responsibility of the business, and we're directing people, we're just like, oh, I don't really know what to do. So that's just totally normal.
I don't know what
um,
you mean, Will.
yeah, I know it too well. I know it too well.
But yeah,
So
just having that weekly meeting or that regular, touching in point,
mm,
looking at the numbers on a really regular basis and just getting a really clear sense of what's what. It's just,
yeah.
yeah, been very, very helpful.
Amazing, amazing. And look, just as a final note, I mean, what would you sort of say to people being on the other side of getting help and seeing the results that you've got? What would you sort of say to people that are, where you were in terms of maybe had a bad experience and kind of stuck and lost, maybe overwhelmed in their own head sort of thing? Like, what would you sort of say to people at that stage and they're really wanting to, get success with their business? What would you sort of say to those people?
I think it's really worth finding the person that can help you, and they are out there, and Will is a great example of that. Yeah, it's definitely worth trying again and looking for the help. Because yeah, it's very, very overwhelming doing the whole thing on your own. And we can't all be, excellent at every component of every, all the issues and, finance, marketing, making stocks, doing it all. So yeah, we need some help. So find the right person, and Will might be your man.
Thank you for that, Jackie. I really appreciate it. And I look, I totally agree because I talk about this quite often where it's like I went for like 5 or 6 years of just grinding it away and kind of just wanting to do everything myself. And then when I finally had that moment of like, okay, cool, I'll finally let someone help me. I was like, why didn't I do this sooner? Because people have walked the path that we have, and are
Yeah.
figuring stuff out faster than what we possibly can as well as updates and things happen as well. So yeah, that's great. And look, thank you just so much for sharing that. I've just been so excited with your progress, and you've been such a honestly joy to watch and work with. Just honestly with the realization of what needs to be done, going ahead and actioning it, going and doing it, and then take it like a big thing too is just taking the responsibility for ourselves. That is honestly one of the biggest attributes I see, with successful people, and yourself included, is just taking responsibility for like, cool, I know this is now what I need to do. Now I have to go ahead and do it, and it's completely up to me to drive that. Which in my experience and opinion is always opportunity. Like there's always more that we can do. We're in charge of the whole thing, and we just have to run with it. So yeah, just want to congratulate you again on that huge month, and we're gearing up for the back end of the year. We'll get that all sorted with growing our audiences and more advertising, more offers, etc. But thank you for sharing all that. I know that's going to be valuable for someone. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Will.
Cool.